It's a very chilly 33 degrees with really dense fog this November morning. And the girly girls are still in bed. Friends and family, to today's twofer edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So my plan today was to share with you a recipe that sounds really weird, but is really, really good. For those of us who are not big fans of turkey, sometimes it's nice to have a festive or a nod to Thanksgiving if you want to use chicken. So we are going to be making cranberry chicken today. So I went to get a jar of my home canned cranberry sauce, and alas, I am out. Either that or it's hiding so skillfully, and I even got the flashlight out, went through the whole pantry, so I think I must have used the last of it. You'd start making a note of that. I hope you will enjoy my shirt. It says, "It's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine." It does have some holiday lights, and I'm not going to skip over Thanksgiving. In my family, Thanksgiving, we did Thanksmas because my parents were snowbirds, so they would leave the day after Thanksgiving for Florida. And honestly, it's just never been the same since my dad passed away, and now mom's gone too. We tried a variety of different ways to celebrate, and my son always works on Thanksgiving, so that's never an option. So I just thought, I think I'm going to go ahead and celebrate Thanksgiving, and I'll get to Christmas when I get to Christmas. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. So just a quick update, y'all. Got to tell you my blood pressure story. Y'all are probably like, "Kym, please." Took the doctor 4 days to get back to me. Nice and speedy. Healthcare at its finest. I would... If I was not a nurse and I was really concerned, I would have gone to urgent care or to the ER, because if you call, that's what they tell you to do. You ain't getting in to see the wizard. Ain't nobody gets to see the wizard. It's just a very busy practice. So the doctor said, "Oh my word, your blood pressure is way too low. You need to hold your blood pressure medicine and just monitor it for a week." Well, this is day 5 that I have not had blood pressure medicine, and y'all, I can't explain it. Thank you, Lord. I'm finally out of the 90s for the top number this morning. Well, a little bit yesterday, and then this morning I'm running like about 120 over 70, which is perfectly fine. Will it stay there? I don't know. I do have a Omron professional grade blood pressure machine, and so, I'll be keeping an eye on it. Do I feel better? Yes. Do I feel back to normal? Honestly, guys, not yet. But I'm not going to give up. Oops, I forgot to put that scoop back in. So, we're going to have to make some cranberry sauce to make our cranberry chicken. So, I am using the recipe out of the Ball Complete Book of Home Preservation. If you have this version, it is on page 180. And it's such a simple recipe, y'all. But it's really delicious, and you will have a product. Even if you want to cut it down because you don't want to can it, you just want to serve it, you'll have a product that you can control if you don't can it, the sugar, but you're not adding a bunch of preservatives and additives and colorants and things like that. And it makes a beautiful whole berry cranberry. So what you're going to need, and y'all, I know I was a little bit all over the place at the last video, blame it on the blood pressure. You're going to need 4 cups of sugar, 4 cups of water, and 8 cups of cranberries. Now, just to show you, before I throw it away, I have found consistently that is 2 12-ounce bags of cranberries. They are in season. One of the things I like to do is buy quite a bit of head. I love cranberries, and they freeze very, very well, and they stay good in the freezer for a very long time. So if you want to make cranberry juice, I have some of that on the shelf. Or you want to make some fresh cranberry sauce where you're not using USDA approved recipe with the sugar. I can't speak to the artificial sweetener. I'm going to use the full sugar. Yesterday I was doing a little bit of research because of a comment that I received that was a very good comment. And there is some research that suggests that using artificial sweeteners, whatever form, can, not just the erythritol, which is what is the biggest culprit for raising your blood pressure. They still artificially raise your blood sugar. Not sure how that happens. And they also have been linked with an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, cardiovascular disease. And I'm like, I can't win. I'm going to have to eat all savory. So what I decided to do is use my artificial sweetener sparingly, eat cane sugar sparingly. So everything in moderation. So far my blood sugar has not protested. So let me reposition the camera. We'll get over to the stove. This is super, super easy, but we need to get it started because our chicken recipe is a crock pot recipe. And we want to take the Ninja, oh Lord, I forget what this thing is called. Hold on. Ninja Foodie Possible Cooker for its maiden voyage. So she's had her bath, as have all the jars. I've pre-measured all the ingredients. Wow, it's really foggy, guys. The phone does not pick it up when I'm filming. I thought it was snowing, but I think I'm seeing things. All right, guys, stay tuned and we'll get started. All right, y'all. So I'm just making a single batch, which is the 8 cups of cranberries. And I am going to use probably the equivalent of a pint or couple cups in our recipe. So this says it will make 4-pint jars. So I may only have 3-pint jars, and that's okay too. I love cranberries though, but I can always make more. And I know cranberries will go down in price because I had to give $1.48 a bag. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to combine our 4 cups of sugar and our 4 cups of water, bring it to a boil over high heat, stir it to dissolve the sugar, and boil it hard for 5 minutes. So what are we doing? Well, we're creating a syrup. So let me pop this on. Now, in full disclosure, you will see, you're like, why is your water yellow? Is that like yellow snow? No, it's not. Because I used the zest of an orange, and that is optional, I went ahead and squeezed the orange, which is going to up the acidity. It is not going to affect our recipe in a negative way. And it just adds so much more flavor. And once you've taken all of the zest off of an orange, you're like, well, now what do I do with it? Because it's all mushy and squishy. All right, guys, let me grab the sugar here. And yes, I know this is sweet. But we're not going to eat all 4 cups of sugar at one serving, right? And I hope you really enjoy this recipe and you won't be like, ooh. I actually had a friend, that's where I got the recipe from, who made this. And I was like, this is amazing, right? And I'm like, what is it? And she told me, and I'm like, oh, that sounds awful. But it's actually very delicious. Now, I'm not going to make you watch the pot boil, but I'm going to boil it hard for 5 minutes so the sugar completely dissolves. We get to that syrup stage. We're going to add our washed and picked through cranberries. I did not have any squishy ones. I had a few that weren't, they were just like white, you know, they weren't ripe enough. So you do not want to put your zest in until closer to the end. So I'll see you once we have a syrup boiling. Our 5 minutes of boiling, hold on, has elapsed. And we're going to take our beautifully washed and picked through cranberries. We're going to add them all at once. Again, that was 8 cups. I went ahead and turned it back up to high because you want to bring it back to a full rolling boil and then reduce the heat and cook for 15 minutes. Let's see if it actually says anything. Boil gently, stirring occasionally till all the berries burst. And another thing, and I will show you this, although I'm sure you know, one way you will know that it's syrupy because you don't want to pour, you know, your whole berry cranberry sauce out and it's watery. It will kind of sheet from the spoon, so instead of just the liquid running off, it will come off like as a thicker sheet. So it takes a little bit. I tried to get these to come to room temperature before I started this project. I'm a little more prepared today. But aren't these just, ooh, that's hot. Aren't they beautiful? So this really puts me, woo! And those popping noises is exactly what you think it is. It's the cranberry skins popping. Ah, the sights, sounds, and smells of the holiday. Y'all know last year I was really on the struggle bus, being the first Christmas without both of my parents. And I'm hoping this year will be a little bit better. I had suggested to my son, well, maybe I can come up there for Christmas. And he was like, I'm coming home. So that tells me he looks forward to our traditions and some of the things that we typically do. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers, y'all, are already fully decked out the day after Halloween for Christmas. I don't want to skip over Thanksgiving. So, and I don't do near as much decor for Christmas as I do for fall and Halloween. And that may seem odd, but that's just the way I do it. And we're not up to a boil yet, and we're on high. So let me get this up to a boil. I'll bring you back, show you what it looks like, show you how the cranberries have a split. We'll set the timer for 15 minutes. And that is just my Presto Precise. We're water bath canning, but you can use the digital pressure canner for water bathing as well. Pints or half pints only, no quarts, because it's not tall enough. So, come on, pot. Let me just show you this, then I won't have to keep doing quick cuts. See how they're all splitting here? And I know you could probably hear them pop. It's just about to come to the boil. Yeah, these are really starting to come apart. Okay, we're boiling. I'm gonna turn it down on a scale of 1 to 10 to 4 on my cooktop. No, don't want it to boil over. Let's set the timer for 15 minutes. And I will bring you back at the end. We'll check the thickness of the syrup. And then we'll get to canning and making our chicken dish. I know I'm cutting off the top of my head, but you really don't need to see me for this part. So the dish we're going to make is cranberry chicken. But there are other ingredients besides cranberries. So I have placed in my Ninja Foodie Possible almost just shy of 3 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So a lot. So to that, we need to add Lipton onion soup mix. You can use the generic. This happened to be on sale, and so that's what I bought. And because I'm not just doing, sorry for the noise, a small amount, let's see if we need to add more than one. This is a very forgiving recipe. So you might think, ooh, onions and cranberries, don't knock it till you try it, because it gets weirder. Oh no, I think one's going to be a gracious plenty. So although I do watch my salt intake, a tablespoon of this has 610 milligrams of sodium, so it's very high in salt. Pretty soon I'm going to be eating cotton balls and tap water. All right, now here's where it gets really strange, and I want to encourage you guys, just try it. If someone would have told me what it was made with, to be frank, I probably would not have wanted to even taste it, but it smelled amazing, and it tasted even more amazing. So it actually calls for an entire bottle of either French or Catalina dressing. So I bought the light, which is 80% less fat. Somebody send me some cheaters. I'm totally kidding, guys. I can buy my own cheaters. 40% less calories than regular Catalina. And I've had this before. It's good. Now this is probably like safety sealed for my protection. Y'all, some of these things that you have trouble getting into, pardon me, this is actually not too bad. But sometimes I have to get the handy dandy needle nose pliers out. So I am just going to put, at least to start, like a glop on each chicken breast, and I'll show you what it looks like. I want this to start cooking so that when our, you really don't want to like oop it down the back like that. So yeah, I've easily used pretty close to half of the bottle. We'll see. I think that will be enough. Let's put our lid on. And I have it on low for 6 hours. Depends on whether you're using a boneless, skinless, a bone-in, how much meat you use. Your slow cooker may take a little longer. Since this is the first time I've used it, I may have to have a snack before dinner time, but that's okay. I'm going to start with 6 hours. If it needs to go longer, we can certainly go longer. So let's give it a check on our cranberries, and we still have 9 minutes, so it's going to take a little bit yet. We're halfway through our cooking process. You can see there's a bit of foam. If that bothers you at the end, you can add a pat of butter. You can skim it off. It doesn't bother me, and mine is more foamy simply because I put the orange juice in. So let's let it finish cooking, but isn't it a beautiful color? And we'll be back when it's finished to check and see when the 15 minutes are up if it will sheet from a spoon. All right, y'all. I can kind of show you it's jellied from my testing. I actually added our orange zest, and as you see, it's nice and thick. It's not just drippy. It's coming off in a sheet. So this is ready. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a couple ladlefuls or so of this over our cooking cranberry chicken. Please be very careful with this. It is super hot. It's liquid sugar. It can burn you terribly. So let me reposition the camera and we'll get to jarring up and canning as well. So I put the equivalent of a pint or 2 cups over the chicken. It smells absolutely amazing. So y'all probably get tired of hearing me say this, but let me flip us around. We're gonna start filling our jars. I might have 3 jars. If I don't have 3 full jars, I'm still gonna can what I get, and the rest I'll put in the fridge for a treat. All right, stay tuned. So what I have here are 3 very hot jars out of the canner. So let's go ahead and start filling our jars with this delicious mixture. And I tried to put the foam in the chicken dish. The ball book says 1/4 inch, so think of it like a jelly. And if you want to know if the jelly has set, you can take a look here at the funnel. Words are hard. Let's give it a little more. And that's a little shy, but let's see if we can get 3. I don't know if we can, but it won't go to waste. Oops, try not to oop it because it makes such a mess to clean up. Again, this would have made an additional pint had I not used so much in our chicken dish, but that's what it's for. I think we're just barely going to make it. Will it hurt to have a larger head space? I can tell you from experience, no. Wow, this is going to be just about perfect. Just more like a 1/2 inch head space. And we're going to debubble because it is quite thick. I might have to lick the pan too, just saying. Y'all, it just smells all like Christmas in here to me. Even though it's more of a Thanksgiving dish. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all we can do. Now, one thing that's really important. I think I kept all the rims clean, but I'm not going to take a chance. And I am going to, yeah, it doesn't look like I got anything on the rims. Woo! Woo, that's hot, y'all. Again, please don't burn yourselves. I do still soak my lids. I'm using today ball lids. I like the 4 jars the best, but ball is what I happen to grab, so that's what we're going to use. Finger tight. Now, into the canner it will go. If you're water bathing, you start your timing. When it comes to a full rolling boil, the time is 15 minutes. Then I like to turn it off, let it set for 5 to 10 minutes so that it doesn't get shocked when we bring it out into the fairly cool kitchen here. All right, guys, I'll see you when our cranberry sauce, which is gorgeous, is all finished. So I realized we didn't taste this on camera. I've made this so many times, it's foolproof. The hiccups, however, never leave me. So you can see it's nice and jellied. Very tart. Well, hi, Flankies. Let's try one with a cranberry that I saved. It's sweet, but it's not syrupy sweet. So I just love this recipe. I am not a canning expert. I'm just a mom that likes to can. I think that's what the needy homesteader says. But at any rate, we'll let those process. It takes a while for it to come up to temp. We'll let it process for 15 minutes, have its cool down period. I'll bring it back and show you what they look like. But we still have one final thing to do, and that is when our chicken is cooked, we are gonna do a taste test. Now, what am I gonna serve it over? Y'all, I have bought some of this at Aldi. It's like pre-cooked rice that you just microwave. I know, that's the lazy way. And this is seasoned with saffron and turmeric. So good for inflammation. So that's what I'm gonna put it over. I believe the first time I had it, it was served over mashed potatoes. I've also seen recipes where it's served over noodles. So now I have to do is clean up all this sticky jelly and relax a little bit, watch the canner. Maybe go check again on my girly girls. They are not pleased. They're like, cold, mama. And all of them are molting. I haven't had any eggs for a couple weeks because they all look like some bald buzzards. Don't tell them I said that. And yes, Miss Nona is still broody, and she will be probably until almost Thanksgiving. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, y'all, how many of you caught my mistake? Thankfully, I caught it quickly, before the canner had come up to boil. I didn't debubble. Now, even though the cranberry sauce was super liquid and I didn't see any bubbles, and it was only 3 jars, so I went ahead and debubbled. So if you happen to make that mistake, it's always a good idea, if it's possible, to go ahead and debubble. You don't want air pockets trapped in your food because it can affect the appearance, the freshness, etc., etc. All right, guys, I'm gonna go take a rest and rejuvenate myself a little bit, and I'll see y'all after a bit. All right, y'all, you ready for a taste test? I confessed. I had to check it to see if it's done, not dumb. How pretty is this? So I did put it on high for about an hour. I ended up cooking it for about 4 hours. And again, they're very small chicken thighs, and they are boneless and skinless. But let's go ahead and taste this. Little cranberry, little rice, little sauce, and a little bite of chicken. Now my nose is gonna run. Y'all, I really encourage you to give it a try. It's packed full of flavor. And again, if you didn't know what the ingredients were, aside from the cranberries, you would wonder how you got that flavor out of some jellied cranberry, whole berry. I have 3 pint jars down here. They're all sealed. So my work for the day is done. I just have to edit and upload this video. But if you would do me a big favor, go ahead and smash that like button on your way out and leave me a comment below. Is this something you would try? You could also do it with turkey breast, I'm quite sure, if turkey is your preference. But I thought this was a good alternative for those of us who aren't crazy about turkey. So I plan to see you all next week. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. But until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.